It's an industry which is actually sort of like carried since, let's say, the late 20s, early 30s, when England actually opened up the doors for foreigners to come in to actually take on these jobs, such as like your London transport, your buses, your railway system and all that, and most were Jamaican and African. And so obviously sort of been from that stand, from that time, obviously, yeah, well, you know, there was probably a hell of a lot of racism at that time. There still is. There still is, guaranteed. As I say, you'll never get rid of it. It will never go. But obviously, you know, the longer that they've actually been in, it's the greater acceptance they've been given.
Yeah, so the London transport system is actually really closely connected with the immigration system as well.
Yeah.
And really build upon the workforces that you gain from outside.
Because as I say, during the late 20s, early 30s, and through the war or whatever, or like after the war and all that, people didn't want the jobs. You know, and they were again. Let's go back to cleaning. People don't particularly want to do cleaning jobs. People that are coming abroad, from abroad, do the cleaning jobs, and they work their way through. They get better English. They go to college. A hell of a lot of people there that I actually work with.
So you think there's actually like a progression, like coming from?
It's a starting block.
You think so, or do you think that it's actually reproducing itself?
It's a starting block for those people. They've taken the time to actually maybe possibly learn a little bit of English to get into England. They've got themselves a job, and so therefore they're progressing. We have a hell of a lot of managers and upper managers, such as sort of assistant directors and so on, which are foreign people, black people, if you wish. You know, not just white people. You know, my manager is a black man. Yeah. My area manager is a black man.
What about the women?
My retail manager is a black man. I have a DSM who's a black woman.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, it's, as I say, it's a multi-racial industry, and it's okay, said earlier on sort of thing, equality of men and women sort of like coming through anyway, so you're all on the same level, whether you're man or woman. If I want to go for promotion, I can do it. But if there's a woman that they feel who would be suited for the job better than I, then obviously they're going to give it to that woman, you know? So it doesn't mean to say just because I'm a man and I'm white, that I'm going to get up that ladder any quicker than anyone else. It doesn't work like that. Not anymore. Maybe it used to, years and years ago, but not anymore.
I don't know if I agree on that, but let's not get into
Why don't you agree on that?
I don't agree on that.
Are you a feminist?
Yeah.
You are.
I'm a woman, you know. I have to think about myself. You thought about yourself for millions of years, you know. I think it's about time that women start thinking about themselves and for themselves.
So
and I think that many of these, let's say the transport system and the business world are built by men, with structures built by men, and I think that's really still something that is excluding women from progressing. I agree there's in many sectors women are progressing faster and better, and there's better opportunities, but like
but go into sort of like where the lawyers, barristers, QCs are black people now. QCs, which are Queen's Counsel. Queen's Counsel, which is a barrister, which is the higher ranking of barristers before they become judges. You've got a lot of black people that are actually doing that job. You know, so they've not been held back. They have actually got their job on the merits that they've actually learned and what they know, and the way that they've actually progressed through the system. But it is a stage system. You can't jump from here straight to the top. It's a ladder system, and it's really the same here. Really, you go through a ladder system from, let's say I'm a grade 2, I can go to grade 4, grade 4, you go to DSM, you can go to manager, so on and so forth. You know, you can climb, and it's run by run of the ladder. You know, you can't go from there straight to the top. There'd be something drastically wrong if that was the case. You know, but again, in law, look at the police force. It's the same thing. Maybe not as good as it is here or whatever when it comes to ethnic minorities or whatever, but it's getting there. You've got Indian people now, which are sort of like assistant commissioners. Black people, which are commissioners in certain areas, which are certain. Let's say, where are we?
Well, is it a question of them
obviously, you get commissioners of certain counties.
Is it a question of them like what's the word? We're talking with this lady who actually really expressed that she thought it was a good thing that she was kind of being converted into English mode, like
she's from Ghana, and she described the way she previously acted before she came to England is kind of rude, and that English made her more polite.
Yeah.
Like English culture, but I think sometimes like she's like losing her cultural identity.
Then you could also say the same, that England is actually losing its culture by opening the doors for a hell of a lot of foreign people coming in, because we're actually embracing their cultures and losing our own.
But maybe England has a history kind of owing that to the colonized countries, I think.
No, I don't think we actually own anything. Not really, because if you actually go back to India, you talk to a lot of Indian people in 1943, 1946, around that time when we give them independence, they didn't want it.
No, because we fucked up the whole system.
No, we didn't. We gave them hospitals, we gave them railways, we gave them jobs, we gave them money to spend, we gave them houses to live in.
You don't think the history of slavery is of any importance, and you don't think we have to deal with that today?
But that was when we was bringing people back into England for slavery, not when we actually colonised any of their countries or anything like that.
But the histories are bound together, you know.
But there again, look at any other country. You know, look at Genghis Khan. I think he was even worse than what we were.
It was?
Genghis Khan. You don't know Genghis Khan? Well, I don't know him personally, but there again, he was one hell of a tyrant who actually spread his way through
West
Asia.
China,
That's right.
And the
Russia,
Middle East.
right the way around there, and he had the culture of, you either join me or I'll kill you. We didn't have that. We never turned around and said, look, you know, because we're here, I'm going to kill you because I don't want, you know, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to cut your throat. We never give them that. We give them a hell of a lot of culture ourselves over there, and we led the way.
I think it's different for someone like me as an American, because it's like the way it's presented to us is that our culture comes borrowed from all
over
other countries. So it's not, for me, it's not like it's not us changing ourselves.
But then how do you feel
cultures.
as an American by pushing the Indians to one side and just giving them a certain amount of land to live on?
Well, we did much worse than that.
Well, there you go. We helped her, and so did the Dutch, and so did the French, and so did a hell of a lot of other countries getting into America, wanting a part of, you know. It's the same when we went into Africa. The Dutch went into Africa again, the French went into, you know, I want that bit, and we're going to do what it is to take it, you know. But there again, if you look at sort of like Ghana itself, you've got English-speaking Ghana, you've got Dutch-speaking Ghana, and you've got French-speaking Ghana. You know, and without that, you probably wouldn't have had those people over here anyway.
Because
so it's, you know, in a way, it's actually sort of like not segregated. There's no segregation. It's multiplied, and which has now given us sort of the cosmopolitan societies that we live in.
Okay, that was not 2 minutes.
It wasn't 2 minutes, was it? No, I'm sacked now.
I'm sure you're not.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, that was it. That was really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.